Jay Douglas leads the mixed use and retail portfolio at Ardent, which is a privately held real estate firm that focuses on opportunistic and diversified investment strategies. So today we're going to talk about what retail and mixed use Ardent is investing in and what is their outlook for the future. Live from Las Vegas, it's Where We Buy. That's right, you're listening to Where We Buy. It's the show where we talk with retail experts and we visit the places where we buy. My name is James Cook.
And I'm Keisha Virtue.
And we both research retail and real estate for JLL. So today we're recording live from the JLL booth at ICSC Las Vegas 2026. Welcome to the show, Jay.
Thank you very much. Glad to be here.
So let's just get into it. Let's just talk about the portfolio.
Yeah, it's interesting. I come from a pure development background where we did ground up, mixed use, kind of high end real estate, all retail based. And as we moved into this phase in Ardent, we really tried to lean into that idea of creating the lifestyle brands, these shopping centers where people want to go, stay, play, shop. And so as we've looked at developments or as we looked at acquisitions across the board, we've really looked at those where we feel like we can take it to another level, right? Whether it's an existing property or whether it's something we want to build from the ground up. And so, we're developing a property in Durham, North Carolina, just off the Duke Medical Center campus, the Duke campus. Amazing location, right? And as the path of growth has moved that direction, some of the old antiquated uses, industrial uses or others, just kind of got overwhelmed by the way that the demographics moved. And now it's ideally situated for something else, right? It's ideally situated to be torn down, repurposed. So we're bringing in Sprouts, we're bringing in Kava and Shake Shack and apartments and townhomes and trying to create this really vibrant mixed-use property in an area that historically has been more industrial, more car washes and just a different category of uses, but very well located and ready for a new phase in life, right? And then so we look at that, whether from the ground up or in the acquisition phase, where they're well located properties that just haven't had the investment or as the times have changed, have just become functionally obsolete. And so we look at saying, what can this be? What does it need to be now that people's consumer habits have changed, their shopping habits have changed? How do we repurpose this in a way that fits the way people shop today, which is different?
What markets would you say you're focusing in on?
So we're based out of Atlanta, and our company invests nationwide. But from a retail and development standpoint, we really try to stay in the Southeast. Easy to get to, a lot of really good growth. The demographics have really moved that direction. And so as we look at creating these grocery-anchored lifestyle, that's really, really where we want to be. See the change in the demographics, see the change in consumer habits.
So the property in Durham, is that Westside Bottling?
That's correct, Westside Bottling.
So adaptive reuse, was it like a former bottling
It was.
facility?
It was an old Coca-Cola bottling distribution facility. And the owner had found a new facility way out in the country, was building a new factory that was going to fit his needs. And this is 12 and a half acres at the corner of the 15501 and the Durham Expressway at 85. And it really is an aggregator area, regional destination that really didn't exist, when it was industrial bottling facility or what have you. So we saw it hit the market and we said, this is a perfect location with enough mass, 12 acres, for us to really put together something exciting. So we jumped in and we've been 4 years into it trying to get this thing off the ground.
And it's mixed use?
It is mixed use. So
Okay.
about 75,000 square feet of retail, grocery anchor. We have Sprouts as the high-end organic grocer, Kava, Shake Shack, Ulta, fitness, boutique fitness, nail salons, massage, all the stuff, the First Watch, 370 multifamily units, and then 35 townhomes. So we really kind of stuffed it all together there.
Wow.
Would you say that's pretty typical as far as the share of uses?
The site really tells you what it wants to be when it grows up, right? And so in this case, it really worked out very, very well. So we had the space to really create all these uses in a way that would fit together. I've done projects in the past where you've got a lot of acreage and you say, well, over here we'll do multifamily, over here we'll do single family homes, and over here we'll do retail. But something that's like 12 acres is great because it really kind of mixes together well.
What do you think the secret is to mixing them together?
It really is a user experience.
Yeah.
And what do they want to do? How do they want to shop? And so we really try to focus so heavily on the consumer and make it an enjoyable, pleasurable experience for them to shop. And then what we found is that people don't tend to like to park in parking garages. They don't feel safe, or they don't see it, or it just kind of comes. So do you create something that they can go to and can access easily, see where they need to park, see the storefront, see the direct path of access to the storefront, as opposed to having to meander their way through a shopping center or a development? In this case, we were able to separate out the parking for the multifamily and the retail, although I've done it in different ways where you can share as well, a little breathability to the parking. But this works out very well for Durham in particular.
So no doubt you've been doing this for a while, right?
A couple of years, yes. Yeah.
So can you tell me how conditions in the economy now, how has it changed considerations as far as what kind of properties you're looking at, how you develop it out, anything like that?
Yeah, it is interesting. I came from a pure development background. We looked for greenfield, tear down, go vertical. The world's changed. Developing is very, very hard today, whether it's the timeline, the cost, what it takes to get all the tenants lined up, ready together. And so while we are doing it, we're doing it there. We're building a Costco down in Florida. We're doing some other things. We've also had a lot of success in finding functionally obsolete shopping centers that are ready to be reinvested in, ready to be repositioned, owned historically by people that really weren't developers or weren't people that were placemaking. And so they'd just been kind of treading water. And so we've had a lot of success in finding shopping centers that are ready to be repositioned. So in Savannah, Georgia, 4-hour drive from Atlanta, we purchased a 100,000 square foot shopping center. It's got a Planet Fitness and a lot of kind of local mom and pop operators, which is fantastic. But we saw the need in the marketplace, highly trafficked, at a good corner, good demographics. So we are going to tear down some vacancy, position a new grocery store. We just announced Sprouts coming there as well. And then with that, what had historically just been kind of a neighborhood shopping center, well, now you're bringing in a customer base that's looking for a certain category of user. So they're looking for, a place to get their massage, a place to work out, a place to eat, grab your fast casual food. And the previous owner, wonderful person, but really was not in that game. And so we've had a lot of success as we've moved forward with this shopping center.
Would you say that you've seen growth in, say, the experiential tenant, like fitness, like massage, as you said, or in some maybe other entertainment concepts versus strictly goods?
Yeah, I mean, there's a world for the soft goods, for the hard goods, right? But the shopper, and most of my experience is in grocery anchored, and so the shopper that is looking for that 2 to 3 times a week, come and get your grocery. They want to grab some fast casual food. They want to, get their massage, work out. It really is. We can kind of throw out the word lifestyle, but it really is a lifestyle. This is where they go. This is their third place outside of their home or outside of their work where they go and they spend their time. So we want to create a location or an experience that fits a one-stop area for them.
So you use the word lifestyle. Do you see lifestyle shifting right now and changing how you're thinking about properties?
So I think there's a lot of different definitions to lifestyle, right?
Yeah, it's like, what do you mean when you say that?
Right. And
shopper habits, I will say.
Shopper habits. But, there's lifestyle like Avalon in North Atlanta, right? In Alpharetta, amazing shopping. Right? But it's not a neighborhood grocery center, right? No. It's a massive development, well done, phenomenal property. Or there's something that may be a little bit more intimate, something that's more neighborhood, but it can still be a lifestyle. It can still bring in those brands. What I've found is that there is a real need for these lifestyle brands, whether it's your fast casual Kava or your fitness or whatever. They're looking for places to expand, looking for places to go, but they won't go into a center. No offense to the dialysis centers, but they're not going to go into a dialysis center. They want to be in a shopping center that fits their brand, fits what they want to be. And so we look to build that lifestyle for our customers and for our retailers. And there's so much demand pent up for really good real estate.
Fantastic. You mentioned Sprouts, which I absolutely love. There's one 5 minutes from me. So it lends itself really well to what you're talking about.
Yeah.
What other groceries do you have anchoring some of your properties?
So I've done, a lot of work in the past with a lot of them, right? So whether Whole Foods or Fresh Market, a lot of conversations with Trader Joe's and others, Publix in the past. We're currently under contract with Costco in Northeast Orlando in Seminole County, Sanford, city of Sanford, old mall, the Seminole Towne Center mall, which we purchased just about a year ago to bring Costco in, another property that was functionally obsolete, kind of a dead mall. The Macy's has closed, the JCPenney just closed, the Sears had closed, and it was ready to be repositioned.
Are you going to demall it, open it up?
No.
Okay.
I'm going to unmall it, if that's
tear it down.
Tear it down, that's right. So we're getting ready to demo the Macy's.
Yeah.
We'll start demolition next month to create the Costco, and then we've got plans to move our way north up the property and create different uses as we progress our way north.
So it's not really a redevelopment.
It's not a redevelopment.
Yeah.
It's a true reposition or development. It's development.
Yeah, it's a development.
Yes, it's development.
Just with the extra effort of having to knock something down first. Do you think, so you're doing these kind of more complicated redevelopment type things where your background was traditionally in greenfield kind of stuff? It's got to be a lot harder. Right?
It's different, right?
It's different.
It's definitely
Okay.
different. The timeline can be shorter for something that's already developed. A lot of the really good real estate has already been developed in one form or fashion over the years. And so it's finding those things that now need to be repurposed or repositioned. So malls are a perfect example, right? Everyone will always look at these malls. They were always regionally located. They wanted to bring in a full area of the town. But the idea of the enclosed mall doesn't work for everybody anymore. Like there are some that do well, but for a lot of them, they're just functionally obsolete. They need to be something else. And so great location. It's a lot of work to unmall this and get it set up for the next phase, but we're really excited about it.
And would those malls be, say, in primary markets or secondary markets? Do you ever consider like tertiary markets, or is it really mainly the big markets?
We like to go where our retailers want to go. And so if we were trying to find a location for someone, we would go to a tertiary market if that's where they directed us. But I would say that we look for metropolitan, urban, some density to it, because that's what will support these types of users.
Seems like you're doing a lot of different stuff all at once. Well, there's one we haven't talked about that's in Key Largo, right?
Not Key Largo, Largo.
Oh, why do I
which
have
is
Key
just
Largo?
outside of Clearwater and St. Pete.
Well, that's quite different. And so this is urban infill.
This is. Largo it's actually an opportunity zone area. Historically, demographics have been a little bit more challenging for the upper scale retail. So the city of Largo, it's an opportunity zone. Demographics have been a little bit more challenged in the past. And there is a lack of really well done retail in Largo. And no offense to the other retail that's there or the other retailers that are
And
there.
you said, and Largo is near Clearwater,
Largo is
Tampa.
south of Clearwater, north of St. Pete.
Okay.
West of Tampa. But it's a great location. It's close to the beach. It's close to all these great areas of high growth. The city of Largo, looking into the future, decided to relocate their city hall and create a new downtown along the main corridor that goes to the beach, right? The West Bay Avenue. And so they built this beautiful new mixed use, got some retail on the ground floor, office, and it's a phenomenal development. They really did a great job. And we purchased the land across the street. Small site, about an acre, but we really wanted to play off of what the city was doing. And so we put a small 12,000 square foot, 2-story rooftop patio, really fun little development right there, because we knew that that's what kind of matched and was complementary to what the city was doing. So we actually just finished construction, just got our certificate of occupancy, and we have Foxtail Coffee opening up in just a few months and other tenants that are coming along. But it really is a fun development. smaller than what we typically do, but it made a lot of sense in this case.
Is it primarily food and beverage?
Yes. Yeah. Primarily food and beverage and service, right? The service, not nail in this case, but fitness or spa or those types of users. Yes.
Gotcha. So you're still working on leasing that?
Yeah, so we've got the Foxtail signed. We've got 2 other spaces under LOI working through the lease negotiations right now. I think we'll be about done there. And then an end cap to fill up and we'll be all done.
You're good to go.
So we're good to go.
And you guys hold them?
Typically we sell. We merchant. We kind of look for the next opportunity, but we're flexible. Ardent's a dynamic company. We have our own capital. And so we can make the best decision when the time comes. But typically we want to move on to the next thing. We're really good at the development and merchandising and placemaking. Asset management, we'll leave that for other people.
You like the fun stuff.
I like the fun stuff, the hard stuff.
The hard stuff, but also where you get to be creative.
Yes.
You know? What's the thing that people get wrong with placemaking? When you go to a project and it's a miss, what have they gotten wrong?
I really think it really goes back to the customer experience, right? And you want to create a place where they want to be, where they want to hang out. And so do you have places where there's green space, where there's open space, where there's areas for their kids to run around or their dogs to run around? And so sometimes you can have all the right brands, but really not have the right setup for it to work, right? And so, we look at developing some of these more obsolete developments. We look to create more of that livable, playable area. We purchased a large shopping center in Atlanta, up in Sandy Springs, Georgia, called Perimeter Point. Dick's Sporting Goods, Regal Cinemas, LA Fitness, 330,000 square feet. And we're currently in the process of densifying it, bringing in multifamily, bringing in more entertainment use, creating more open space and area. It's on the MARTA rail, so it's got mass transit already. How do you integrate it all into one experience, as opposed to just saying, well, over there's a movie theater and over there's your fitness and over there you can get your soccer ball. So we're very excited to be in the planning phase of this development, which we'll probably see take shape probably the first quarter of next year.
Keisha and I have been doing a lot of research about entertainment concepts lately and the new ones that are expanding right now. What are your thoughts about the importance, or like what kinds of entertainment tenants do you like to see in your centers?
People want an excuse to get together. They want an excuse to hang out. And so, there's a lot of brands that cater to this idea of they just want to hang out. And so we, as we look at merchandising what we do, it's okay, well, what brands can you bring in? And there's so many good ones out there now. Putt Shack and Flight Club and Pinewood Social. I mean, the Jaguar Bolero, these great concepts where they've created bowling alleys and darts and putt and reimagined it in a way that allows people to just spend time together. People want to be connected. And I think that's kind of what we do when we create these shopping centers. We allow a place for people to get together.
That's so elemental to the whole discussion, I think, because I did some research into the very first mall that opened back in the 1950s, and it was exactly this kind of placemaking concept, and then we kind of strayed away from that in the 80s. Now, full circle, here we are. So
and it's really true. I mean, you think about the old 90s, the mall rat kind of they just wanted to hang out there.
Yeah.
They wanted a place to go, and I think that there is a real demand now for people to get out there and be engaged in society. And so trying to create that. And so, not to go back to Avalon or Halcyon or downtown Sandy Springs, where they created these open areas that people just will go hang out in. And we want to capitalize on that and then create the complementary uses around it where they can hang out and then go eat or then go play putt-putt or then go shopping or whatever the next thing is.
Yeah. It's funny. Avalon is a project that gets name dropped so often on this show. I feel like it's inspired so much in our industry, and it's not the only one. There's a lot, all the Caruso projects in LA,
right.
But that one, for whatever reason, when you go there, it's just you feeling good.
It's the experience, right? It is the experience, and we try to learn from what people have done, and we try to implement what works and what doesn't, and as we look at developing, whether it's the mall down in Sanford or whether it's Perimeter Point in Sandy Springs or any of the other projects we're doing, we're just trying to take what we know works and create kind of the next level of development.
So you started development, just doing like new construction. How long did you do that before you got into this gig?
Yeah, so I was at a development shop called S.J. Collins out of Atlanta, and it's where I cut my teeth, and was there for 10 years, and we did Whole Foods and Fresh Market, and it was very exciting. And truly, it was a master's course in how to develop lifestyle retail. Great people, and about 4 years ago, I did branch off and went to Ardent. Ardent is a private equity company out of Atlanta, great group of people. About half of their business is debt, and they are in all asset classes, retail and apartments and land, and they do really good work there. And then the other half of it is really just opportunistic. It's what makes the most sense. And so, they had done retail work in the past, usually partnered with other groups. They had been a GP, general partner, in assisting other developments. They, kind of got to this point where they said, how hard can it be? Why don't we do this? And so I joined them in 2022, post-COVID, to create an in-house development platform. And then, really it's a retail specialty. And then so we're acquiring shopping centers, or we're acquiring malls, and taking that same retail basis and applying it to all these developments that we're doing.
When you talk about the developments and kind of what guides them, it really seems to me like you're thinking first about the retailer and what the retailer wants and where they want to meet the consumer at. So do you sort of have just like a basket of retailers that are kind of, these are the ones we want to work with, this is who we're trying to appeal to?
But there's certainly a category of retailers that I'm used to dealing with that tend to co-tenant together. And so when you do a development, it's easy to pick up the phone and call the Rolodex of people that you work with. When I look at mixed use, I think a lot of times it perhaps gets done poorly by other asset class developers. So apartment guys will come in and they're thinking apartments first, and they put an apartment in and they're like, well, I should put retail on the bottom, or I should do something. And it's not designed with the consumer in place. I think retail is unique, and apartments can be a bit of a fungible good. Office can be a bit of a fungible good. It's kind of a commodity. Retail is not a commodity. You can have two shopping centers immediately adjacent to each other or across the street. One's amazing, one's not. And it's access, and it's the tenancy, and it's the mix, and it's all the things. And if you can create the right retail mix, what you're doing is you're creating an amenity base for your office or your multifamily that makes it no longer a commodity product. And so you can command rents with your multifamily that are not, commensurate with the market. They're not the same as the one down the street, because people don't want to be down the street. How many times have we been out trying to do leases with a retailer, and you quote a rent and they say, that's too high. I could go across the street for half that price. And you say, well, go ahead, go across the street. And they say, well, I don't want to go across the street. I want to go to, right? You're creating a non-fungible, non-commodity product. And so when you look at mixed use, you want to lead with the retail because it's not a commodity. And if you do it really, really well, you will command a premium on multifamily, on office, on the other uses, because that's where they want to be outside of their living situation or their working situation. Now, where do you go? Ponce City Market, great example. Halcyon, great example, where they've created a great retail mix, and it's made it distinguishable from other office projects or multifamily projects that are adjacent.
Jay Douglas, our time has just flown by. Thank you so much for joining us. It's been a fascinating conversation.
Thank you. I really appreciate the time.
And if you want to hear more interviews and retail insights, you can subscribe to the Where We Buy podcast on your iPhone podcast app or on Spotify. Anywhere you get podcasts, you can find Where We Buy. Just search for us and be sure to follow and subscribe. And you can also find us on the web at wherewebuy.show. And that is a wrap. Thank you, Jay.